Video number 10, Reminders, Email Notifications, and Follow-Up. Now that we have managed the settings needed to successfully personalize and present your webinar, it's time to take the last steps of the setup process. By scrolling down, we are going to start with the Emails section. Here we have options to manage replies, confirmations, reminders, follow-up emails to attendees, panelists, and absentees, as well as to manage programmed emails that will help increase hype around the webinar days before it starts. Reply to. At a glance, the Reply to option seems to be about communications received through GoToWebinar's platform, which by default is programmed to be sent to the email address that we used when we signed up. Press on the Edit option on the Reply to section, and a pop-up window will appear stating that this is the email address that attendees can use to contact you in case they have questions or comments about your webinar. You can edit it and set a different address for this purpose. Maybe you want it redirected to a panelist or a co-organizer, or perhaps you just want to use a specific email address for support. You can reset the information if you edit it, or leave the new email address and save it. Confirmation email to registrants. The confirmation email to registrants is set as Send Email Confirmation upon registration by default, and when we go into the Edit option, we are presented with content that comprises this email and the ways in which you can manage it. By default, it is checked as Send Confirmation Email to Registrants, and we strongly recommend you leave it like this. Scroll down and you can see the body of the confirmation email, including your webinar's description, contact information, instructions on how to join in, and how to participate. The subject of the confirmation email is set as your webinar's name confirmation by default, but you can edit it. You also have two text boxes where you can add extra relevant information. You are limited to 1,000 and 2,048 characters in the first and second boxes, respectively. Once we've reviewed the information, we can preview how the confirmation email will look by pressing the Preview button beside the Save button. This preview will be complete with links and instructions on how to cancel registration if the participant so desires to do. After previewing, we close the preview window and save the information. We will be back at the Manage Webinar page, and we will check under the section we just managed to see that there are no reminder emails set to be sent to attendees and panelists, so we press Edit to enter. By default, the option to send reminder emails to approved participants and panelists is unchecked, but it would be wise to check it so nobody misses or is late for the session. When you check this option, the reminder email boxes will be displayed. You'll be able to send up to 3 reminder emails, and each one can be configured to be sent in a period of time between the date you are setting it and the date in which the webinar starts. If your webinar starts in a week, you can program it to be sent within a week. Also, you can set it to be sent from 1 to 6 days or from 1 to 6 hours before the webinar starts. We recommend setting reminders to be sent on the last 3 days before it starts, with the last one being sent 5 hours before the session starts. This is because if you schedule the reminders to be sent too many days or too few hours before the webinar starts, anticipation about it is not going to be built. When checking the box on your first reminder and after setting the time for it to be sent, you will be shown the body of the email reminder, where you will be able to edit its subject and enter custom text if needed. You can preview this email with the Preview button beside the Save button. After previewing your information and making sure that it is correct, we save it and go back to the Manage Webinar page. Follow-up email for attendees and for absentees. By going into the Edit option of the Follow-up email for attendees, you can see that by default, a follow-up email is programmed to be sent 1 day after the session is over, to thank attendees for participating. You can program it to be sent from 1 to 6 hours, days, or weeks after the session has ended. We recommend you program it to be sent 1 hour after the session is over, so they receive your message and a recording of the broadcast while it is still fresh in their minds. You can have a copy sent to your email address, edit the subject, add a message to the body of the email, and add your webinar's recording by hitting the Select a Recording button. You can preview this email by using the Preview button below, and save it to go back and check the follow-up email to absentees on the Manage Webinar page. We press Edit and go inside the option. By default, this option is unchecked. You can program it to be sent from 1 to 6 hours, days, or weeks after the session has ended. You can edit the subject and edit the message in the body of the email. Go to Select a Recording and upload the recording of your session so you can add it to this message. We strongly recommend you send a follow-up email to attendees with a recording of the session to remind absentees about what they missed. This way, you are providing them with support material, even though they did not attend your broadcast when it went live. By sending these confirmation, reminder, and follow-up emails, we are encouraging your audience to further participate in your webinars. In the next video, we are going to work with the rest of the tools made available by GoToWebinar to create great sessions for you and your participants.